Add time Raycon. Yep. Welcome to Uncharted, Dr. Ake's Fortune. We open very dramatically to an underwater scene as we swim up to a coffin.
Whose coffin is it?
It's the coffin of legendary treasure hunter Francis Drake. He also did some other important historical stuff, but mostly he's known for treasure hunting. The scene then transitions, and we are on a boat. There is a woman, and her name is Elena Fisher.
I am here off the coast of Panama, where we just recovered what we believe to be the coffin of legendary explorer Sir Francis Drake, who was buried at sea over 400 years ago.
Nathan Drake then struts in and he goes, "There are no romantic feelings here," and with a crowbar, he starts cracking open the coffin. Nathan lifts the lid off the coffin, and there is nothing inside. What a twist. And Nathan knew it all along because he is the best explorer and he knows everything that happens in history. Now, it turns out that the coffin is not completely empty. There is no delicious body inside, but there is a small box. I know what this is. I am very knowledgeable about history, and in it is a small notebook. Nathan then starts flipping through the pages even though it is 400 years old. Elena is then very annoyed because Nathan is not treating her professionally. She says, "Hey, come on, show me what's in the book." And he says, "No way. The deal was just for the coffin." They start bickering like an old married couple, but they are not romantically interested. Nathan then radios Sully and he goes, "We got some trouble over here, Sully. I think I'm going to have to kill this woman." Elena then says,
Hey, who are those people coming towards us?
Nathan then says, "Oh no, it's pirates." Nathan then sensually whips out his briefcase, and inside is a gun. He gives that gun to Elena and asks,
"Do you know how to use one of these?"
And Elena says,
"Yeah, it's like a camera. You point and shoot, right?"
So, the battle begins between the dynamic duo and the pirates. "Oh no, the ship has caught fire. But where can we find some water to put it out?" says Drake. But luckily, Sully shows up in a plane, and he's probably got some water on board. The pair jump overboard as the ship explodes behind them. Sully then lands in the ocean, and Nathan and Elena hop in. Victor Sullivan introduces himself to Elena.
Hello, my name is Sully, and I am the super racist.
Oh, what the heck, Sully? Now the three of them fly away. As they fly, Nathan shows Sully the notebook he found in the coffin. What do you think of this, Sully?" And Sully says,
Something about Mexicans.
"Oh, come on, Sully. Oh, that's not right." And then Nathan says, "This is my dad's lost diary.
It's like 400 years ago.
He had me when he was very old." Now we're back to the shore. Nathan and Sully are chatting privately, and Elena is walking along the dock taking a phone call with her producer. Nathan says, "Hey Sully, check out this map I found in my dad's diary. It's for the ancient lost treasure of El Dorado." The last page has been torn out, by the way, and we will need to go find it. Sully agrees, but he says,
We've got one problem, see?
Then Sully points at some Chinese people. Oh, Sully, come on now.
No, Nate. I meant her. I meant Elena.
Oh, right. That's Sully. Nate agrees that Elena is a liability, and then they hatch their ultimate idea. They steal Elena's boat and leave her stranded on the dock.
It's not like they ditched her in the middle of the jungle, like she clearly is in some sort of civilization.
So we cut to Nate and Sully searching through the jungle. They go to a spot they found on the map in Drake's diary. Nate searches around and finds an entrance to an underground temple. Sully then asks,
Where's all the gold?
"You don't understand, Sully. It's been picked clean centuries ago. But look at this. It's a piece of tin. That means that the Spanish were here. They love tin." Sully becomes angry, saying,
I'll tell you something else about the Spanish, Nate.
"No, Sully, no!"
Fine. Let me tell you this then. I'm up to my eyeballs in debt, Nathan.
Too many big bar tabs in Lima, I guess.
That and, well, just a few bad deals.
Now, Nate and Sully continue further into the cavern, and Nate starts ruining old historical monuments. And then Nate and Sully, they make it to the other side. And here is where they find something interesting.
It's a large hole in the wall.
Nate looks around and finds gold flecks. Ah, there must have been a big gold statue here and they dragged it around. That's why there's all these gold flecks left all over the floor. Makes perfect sense.
Sully looks at the markings around the hole and says, "Rrr, it looks like people worship this statue."
Of course. El Dorado, the Golden Man.
It wasn't a city of gold at all. It was a big golden idol. Ah, I have found something, Sully. Look at this.
Look over here. Tracks. I bet the Spanish dragged it out on cut logs.
So the trail's cold.
Yeah, it looks that way. Unless we follow the tracks.
So, the tracks end just outside of the temple. So they keep following them, and then they find a big German U-boat, and it is stuck on top of a waterfall, which is one of the worst places for a U-boat. What does Nate think about all this?
Must have come up the river during flood season and gotten stuck.
There's no way that's correct. Now, Sully is kind of hesitant because he goes, "Oh, I don't know. This doesn't seem so good, Nathan. What if we knock on the door of the U-boat and scare all the occupants? It'll be fine. I'll just tell them who my dad is." Now, Nate then hands over that notebook. Remember the notebook? The important notebook?
Drake's diary.
Just hold on to it for a moment, Sully. Now, Nate begins finding a way onto the U-boat. Inside, he finds dead crew members. Does he at least try to revive them or something?
Just him giving CPR to a skeleton?
Nate then continues on, and then, the captain. Listen up, Captain, I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you about my dad. Have you seen him? He left many moons ago. He left me his diary, though. Sully's holding it. Fine, you don't want to talk? I've got other means of getting information out of you. So, Nathan finds a piece of paper in the dead captain's hand. Aha, I knew you would give it up eventually. Nate thinks this must be the missing page from Drake's diary. Get fucked. Nate also finds a map in the room. Now, the missing page from Drake's diary is also some kind of map. So there's like two maps. So you put one on top of the other, right?
Kind of, you just reference them with each other.
Okay, now Nate picks up the radio and he goes, "Listen up, Sully. Looks like Drake and the Germans were all after the same treasure. They've been in cahoots." Sully says, "Hey, this better not be some sort of wild goose chase. We did one of those. It was kind of fun, but we shouldn't keep doing that. I'm in big debt. Also, have you noticed that foreign people have funny customs?"
Sully, you're breaking up.
And then suddenly,
Sully's cut off.
oh my god, something's happened to him. So Nate rushes out the back. On Nate's way, he knocks over a torpedo, because he's clumsy, and it starts ticking. Nate quickly leaves the ship. Now, when he goes back to the shore, there are two men there, and Sully has his hands up. The men's names are Gabriel Roman and Antok Navarro. They both sound like newscasters.
They do a little bit.
Back to you, Gabriel Roman. That was Antok Navarro on the scene. Nate and Sully are now being held at gunpoint.
See, your friend owes me money, Mr. Drake. A lot of money.
Oh, wow. So that's who he owed the debt to.
Correct. Sully told Roman he was onto something big, and Roman got intrigued and followed him because...
He's made grand promises before, haven't you, Victor?
There's no more time for you. I'm gonna kill you both. Prepare to die. Unless there's something on that U-boat that you found in there, like treasure or directions to some treasure. Sully says, "Oh, wait, give him the map, Nate. The map to your dad." Now, Nate gives the map to Roman and Navarro, but he still has that missing page, right? From the captain, right? It's in his pants pocket.
And that is also a map.
Just to be super clear, there are two maps and a diary. So Nate found the page in the captain's hand. Then he marked the location of the treasure on another map. So there are two maps. And then Sully still has the diary. And then Roman took one map, and Nate has the other, and the diary still in Sully's pocket. It's simple, right? Sully says, "Are we square then?" Yes.
Good.
But just in case you need a reminder...
Sully!
Holy shit. Nate then starts to attack Roman. Remember that missile that Nate knocked over before? Yeah, well, it randomly explodes, and in all the commotion, Nate does a duck and cover and he runs into the jungle. Now, along the way, Nate finds Elena. Elena then punches Nate in the face.
That's for leaving me at the dock.
Fair enough.
Nate says, Sully's dead. We gotta get out of here, unless we want to be next. I could be next. Elena then gives Nate a gun. Now, they run back to the temple, and they make it to a jeep, but it is very well hidden, so we will highlight it for you, the audience. Now, Nate and Elena then hop into the jeep. They crank some tunes.
What are they playing, Zuck?
Look, it's one of Sully's old mixtapes. Oh, Sully. Nate goes,
You have a good memory?
Yeah, why?
UK 2642. You got that?
it's the coordinates to where El Dorado is. What? That's so cool. Yeah, only problem is the bastards who killed Sully also know those coordinates.
No!
So they drive off together into the sunset to find the treasure. Fade into Nate and Elena in a plane, and they are on their way to El Dorado. Now, as they get closer, someone on the island fires an anti-aircraft gun at the plane. They are dead. So, the plane starts to go down. It's very rock and roll, but not as cool as in Uncharted 3 when that plane goes down.
Does this thing even have parachutes?
Now would be a good time to look.
Elena checks the back.
I hope these things still work.
Elena then jumps out first, and Nathan follows shortly behind her. Nate pulls his parachute, but uh-oh. Jeff, what's wrong?
There's a hole in his parachute.
Oh.
Nate falls into the trees, and our favorite game trope is making a return. He passes out.
Finally. Ad time. Welcome to Charted, Pixel Man's 5 Tune, the lesser-known extra from Uncharted. You're not special. I'm also looking for treasure. I have lost my recharge cord. I only have 32 hours before the battery goes out, which is actually a very long time, which is why I go to buyraycon.com/storymode to get 15% off my order. Let me tell you, the everyday Raycons are great for when I'm going for a walk, drowning out unnecessary background noise.
I had to protect
I'll just give you 2 a moment. Raycons are a blessing when you're in the streets of Jakarta or outside your ex's house. With their new built-in microphone, you can continue to ask her the important questions from a discreet and legal location. Ooh, it's me, Julius Caesar. Where did you bury my treasure? Uh-oh, chase scene time, fellas. Lucky for me, the Raycon Everyday Earbuds fit so beautifully in the ear, and with their silky tip thick, look at these. They never fall out. Uncharted, quick, look at this. I found 50,000 5-star reviews. And if you go to buyraycon.com/storymode, you can get 15% off your order. Because now Raycons have a bunch of new noise profiles. There is the Pure, which is perfect for listening to audiobooks.
It's hard, but it happens.
Balance, you know what that is. And then the bassy one, because some people like the bass. Sorry, don't mind me. Oh, come on, Rafe. At least give them a go. They're so comfortable with their silky rubber fit. Let me just...
I earned this.
See, he loves them. Sorry, guys, I was just taking a call. Anyway, go to buyraycon.com/storymode. Use the link in the description to get 15% off your purchase. Ad ouvre. Nate regains consciousness, and he's hanging in front of a strange angel statue.
The angels are coming for you. Don't blink.
Nate cuts himself free out of the parachute and falls to the ground. Oh, it's just like that Tomb Raider game. Nate sees smoke in the distance from the plane. This must be Elena. She has sent up a smoke signal for me, made out of the wreckage of a plane.
This one is slightly smarter than all the other humans.
Nate starts making his way through the jungle, fighting guards a lot. Guards in the jungle?
Yeah, Roman and Navarro are already here.
Anyway, Jeff, let me tell you, there's a plane in a tree. Nate then climbs a rope and investigates the wreckage. Inside the wreckage, he manages to find the map from Drake's diary. Take a photo of it with your fucking phone, dummy.
How has it not been set on fire?
Pure luck. Now, Nate looks outside the window. He can see Elena's parachute is caught in some old ruins. Oh, she died. There's no need to go that way. I couldn't bear to see her body in that state. Nate heads towards the parachute. He then finds Elena's parachute, but it's empty. Oh, she's alive. Fantastic. Nate then climbs up the ruins that this parachute is attached to, and then he zip lines into an enemy control room. Nate looks up and he sees, oh, Elena, I see you. You're in some old ruined building, and it looks like she is capturing some B-roll footage. Suddenly the radio turns on.
Hello?
Nate goes, oh, I should say something. And so he tries to fool the guards by speaking in Malay.
It worked.
There he is. Up there. Get on the gun.
Oh boy.
It did not work.
Nate fights his way, kills a lot of people, and then he goes to a new place. Nate finds a wall. And scrawled on that wall is a big diagram, which is very handy, and for some reason it is written in pretty legible English.
Fletcher, we have gone to the Great Tower. I pray that you will meet us there. Francis Drake.
Nate wonders, what was my dad plotting? Nate then walks out onto the balcony and looks through the telescope. Ah, yes, an old building. Also, look at all these shipwrecks, very cool. Also, there's Elena, my favorite co-worker. But it looks like guards are about to ambush Elena. I gotta save my co-worker, says Nathan, and he starts firing wildly in her direction. But then one of the guards throws a grenade, blowing up the balcony, knocking out Drake. Unconscious mode. Oh no.
Nate awakens in a prison cell to Elena throwing rocks at him through the window. Take that, dummy. Elena looks at the wall and says,
Traditional sandstone, brick, and stucco. Limestone mortar, huh?
Nate says, how do you know so much about this, you fucking weirdo?
My show, Episode 4, Architects of a New World. Yep. It'll just take a tug to pull these bars out.
All I hear is blah, 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 Elena. Get me out of here already.
I'm gonna go off and grab something.
Elena runs off to grab something. The best character in the entire game shows up, and his name is Eddie Raja. Now he comes in to see Nate, and he goes, listen here, Francis Drake, if that is your father's name. I have taken the missing page from your dad's book, and I would like to make a deal with you.
Tell you what, lead me to the gold, and I just might let you live.
But then Nathan retorts, I ain't gonna do that, Raja. I'm getting that gold off of myself. Raja becomes very angry. Suddenly, a hook is attached to the bars on the windows, and Elena pulls the whole wall out using a Jeep. Raja is then like, what? And Nate walks up to him and he goes, yoink, and he grabs that page. Nate and Elena get into a car with a machine gun.
They run away as guards chase them, and Nate mows them down. They jump a broken bridge in the Jeep and lose the guards.
That's very cool.
But then they come to a cliff. Elena pulls the handbrake and does a handbrake turn.
Now, Mr. Uncharted was not wearing his seatbelt, and so he slides right off the back of the vehicle. Elena says, take my hand, Uncharted. You'll fall to your death. Let me pull you back up.
Nate then tries to drive away, but the Jeep is stuck, so the wheels are just spinning.
Then suddenly Raja pulls up, and he starts threatening Nate and Elena, and he says,
Now, give me that map.
Hold on. All right, you got me, fair and square.
Hey, don't move.
Relax, Eddie. Just getting the map like you asked.
I'm reaching for the map. Oh, I put the car in reverse and I've taken it backwards off the cliff.
And then, let me tell you what else happens.
Tell me, Zuck.
They're dead. So they surface from the water. I'm so glad they have not drowned. They are now in a city. A drowned city. It's Atlantis. Nate and Elena begin fighting their way through Atlantis. They manage... Wait.
There's guards down here too. There's guards everywhere.
Fuck off. They managed to find a spot to rest for a minute, and Nathan goes, boy, there sure are a lot of conceits to this game. There wouldn't be guards here at all. Why do they need information from me? How are there this many guards? I've killed literally hundreds of people by this point. And Elena goes, hey Nate, why don't you shut the fuck up? I gotta show you something. I filmed this earlier. Oh, not that one. Whoops. This one.
So Elena shows Nate that building that he spied before with the telescope. Here it is in black and white, Nate looking at it. Elena tells Nate that's the harbor. The harbor is where all the boats coming in would have unloaded their cargo.
Oh, boring. Why are you telling me this, Jeff?
Because if El Dorado came to this island, it would have had to gone through that harbor.
Now, Nate then spies a boat in the footage, and he goes, it's a boat. We can escape on a boat.
This one is slightly smarter than...
But then Elena says,
So what? We're just gonna give up? Not go after the treasure, which is why we're here?
And Nate goes, well, we're pretty outnumbered, and to be honest, it would be pretty funny if you died, Elena, but I couldn't have that on my conscience. And also, I don't want to die.
If you're gonna quit, you quit, but don't use me as an excuse, you gross man.
Fine, I'll do it, Elena. I'll find that treasure. But this time, I'll drive. Audience laughs. So, they hop onto a jet ski, which is conveniently placed there, and they start fighting their way through the flooded city. Elena says, hey, I once read a story about a cursed Inca treasure. Yada yada yada, says Nate. Oh, I'm sick of hearing your boring ass stories that don't seem to go anywhere. And then Elena says,
something bad happened here. A whole colony just doesn't up and vanish, Nate. Jesus, piece the clues together.
Yeah, like they all died from some sort of plague or something. That's so dumb, Elena. Why don't you shut up? Now, they ride around on the jet ski, which is fun, and then they manage to get to a harbor, which is not as fun. Now, when they're in the harbor, they find a room, and that has all of the old ship manifests. Nate starts looking through, this one, what about this one? Maybe these are all clues. And then he finds a ship called the Esperanza, and it was carrying a gold statue that weighed about 20 arrobas. Quick, Jeff, what's that in shipping weight?
It's 294 kilos.
That's a lot of gold.
What a gold.
Now, Nate also finds a drawing of the El Dorado statue in this manifest. Nate also notes, this is the last entry in the manifest. It's like no other boats came or went after this thing came through here. Now, Nate starts rubbing the ring that is hanging around his neck. So Elena asks,
is it somebody special? Ooh.
I'm taken, Elena. Fuck off.
Just because there's a goalie doesn't mean I can't score. Ooh.
Nate reveals, it's my dad's. He also says, check out the date.
Oh, it's the 29th of January, 1596.
That's right, that's our anniversary. Also, it's the day after he went missing. I'm a lot older than I look.
What are the other numbers on this ring?
It's coordinates that lead right off the coast of Panama. What do you mean coordinates? This is almost like the year 1600. What, like a GPS?
Just like map coordinates.
Oh, fuck off. Elena also says,
so that's how you knew where the coffin was.
Correct. Also, my dad must have left this clue so I could pinpoint the exact burial site. Also, none of this matters. We're still going for that boat. So they continue on through the harbor building. Nate and Elena make it to a balcony where they spot the boat. It's a boat, I can tell. I've seen one before. Elena says,
hey, why don't I just stay here and you can just swing around and pick me up once you got the boat?
And then Nate goes, hey, what are you up to?
Nothing. I just want to capture some more footage. You know me, I'm a filmmaker.
Nate says, all right, suit yourself, but you better stay put. You better not walk around. Listen, I'm going to continue on alone. I'm a lone wolf. I'm going to make it to that boat. And I do. And then I'm here and I'm looking around and there's enemies and stuff. Anyway, Elena then comes out of nowhere with a camera.
Nate, listen, in the few seconds I was gone, I filmed some stuff and you have to see this.
I'm too busy, says Nate. Well, it's not the best time.
You need to see this right now. This is more important.
Elena then shows Nate some footage of Navarro and Roman boarding a helicopter. Oh my god, I did need to see this now. There's Sully with him, and he's alive.
How much do you really trust this guy, Nate? Do you reckon he's backstabbing us? Do you reckon he's betraying us?
How could this dead guy do this to me? How could he betray my trust like this? Now, the boat with the enemies pulls off, and then Nate says, Sully has done a lot of things, but he ain't a backstabber. We've got a lot of backstory in future games, and this wouldn't make any sense. Trust me, it's a retcon. Nathan then pulls out the Drake page and he goes, you tell me which way they're headed. I'm gonna win him back. Elena says,
northish towards the mountains.
That must be the monastery. Let's go. So Elena says,
what if he's working with them? What do we do then?
We're kind of going around in circles here, Elena. I said he's not doing that. Also, we're gonna rescue him, or we're gonna kill him if he was was cheating on me. Also, listen up. Let's head towards the monastery, which I said earlier. So along the way, they cross a rickety old bridge, which is very action-packed, and the boards start breaking underneath Elena's feet, and Nathan dives forward, grabbing her. But she's slipping. Nathan says, "You gotta give me your hand. There's no time, Elena." And she goes, "Oh, but my camera." And then it like pans from his hand to the camera, to the hand, to the camera, to the hand, to the camera. Oh my god. And so she lets go of her hand and she falls, retaining the camera. Alternative ending, she drops the camera reluctantly and grabs Nate's arm. "I'll help you back onto the... there you go. Now you're safely on the thing." Lamau, your camera, Lamau. He's laughing. He's just having a great time.
A $2,000 piece of equipment in the ocean.
Lamau. Now, Nate and Elena, they make it just outside the monastery. They overhear guards saying that Sully is in the library on the east side of the complex, so keep your voice down, because there's no talking in the library. Now, Nate and Elena start mowing through guards to get to Sully. Bang, 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 but quietly. Nate and Elena make it into the library where they find Sully, and he's reading a book and also talking to some guards. "Ah, Sully, you are taking too long to decipher the clues and show us where the treasure is." Then Sully asks,
"Where are you from?"
But not in a friendly way. But before Sully can launch into another racist screed about the people from Panama, Drake is spotted. So they shoot with their guns, but Nate and Elena have plot armor, so they win the gunfight and they kill the guards.
Remember when Elena asked if a gun worked like a camera?
Where's the zoom? So, the pair regroup with Sully the racist. Oh no, what's he gonna say next?
These people, they're... At least, I think they're people.
Holy shit, Sully. Now, Nate and Elena are actually very suspicious of Sully, and not just because he's wearing a shirt with a Confederate flag. Elena says, "So, how come you're still standing here, breathing, and not dead?" And Sully goes, "Well, remember when they did shoot me? Well, it turns out I had Drake's diary the whole time, and the diary saved me from the bullet."
Oh, that's believable.
However, once they realized that I wasn't dead, I managed to convince Roman that he'll never get the treasure without my help, and I have been misleading him ever since, hoping that you, Nate, would show up to save the day, even though you are somewhat of a libtard. So Elena says, "Hey, where is Roman now?" And, the rest of his cronies. And Sully says, "Hey, well, I sent them to the other side of the monastery to chase a red herring." And Sully then shows Nate and Elena a symbol of a heart with keys through it. Sully says this is the symbol that the Spanish used to mark their secret vaults. And the treasure is right here in the monastery. Sully says, "Find the symbol, find the vault."
Okay, let's start searching around the library. Then I whip out my book, and I use clues within it, and I turn some statues, and I open a secret door. So, Nate, Sully, and Elena head into the secret tunnel, and guess what it connects to, Zuck? The secret room. And there's another hidden passage within this secret room, and then it opens into a wide cavern. But Nate says, "I'm gonna go through this other secret tunnel.
Yeah.
I'm gonna check out what's going on there. Sully and Elena, you stay here in the secret room, and I'll come back for you." Sully says, "Here's a walkie-talkie so we can keep in contact."
Nate continues on alone. So Nate continues through the secret passages and the secret rooms and all sorts of other secret things until he finds a secret vent inside a secret room even. And then he is eavesdropping, which is rude, on Raja, Navarro, and Roman. And they are having an intense discussion. They are saying,
"My name is Raja. Roman, my men, they're being massacred."
It's not just Drake, god damn it! I'm telling you, this island is cursed!
Enough. Take your sorry mob and go.
You owe me a share of that gold, remember? We had an agreement.
Your share, Eddie, was contingent upon you doing what I required.
I'm becoming agitated, and I'm pointing a gun at your head. What are you gonna do now, huh? I'm Navarro, and I'm gonna point a gun at you, Raja. Ooh!
"You know what, Raja? Why don't you just leave? No one wants you here anyway." And then Raja actually does just leave. He sulks away, which is the best way to end a Mexican standoff. And then Roman goes, "Oh, remind me again, why did you even employ him?"
Well, you said you wanted someone cheap.
Well, you get what you pay for, I suppose.
Anyway, I want to know, Navarro, are you worth paying for as well? Are you going to help me find this vault or not?
I'm gonna help you find the vault. I just need a bit more time. Nate continues on, and he makes it inside a church.
Suddenly, Sully radios Nate.
Listen up, soy boy. There's a secret gallery at the top of that church. Why don't you go find out what's there?
Okay.
So Nate goes to the top of the church to check it out. And then once at the top of the church, Nate sees that there is a heart symbol from Drake's diary. You know, the thing that...
with the keys in it.
And also the rainbow. And also one of those fist symbols. And also the Ukrainian flag.
Love is love,
says Sully to Nate.
Surprisingly PC there, Sully.
Oh, it's 2022, Nate, and I'm accepting of all types of folks, except for foreigners.
It's weird the topics you choose to have issues with.
Nate pulls down some of the large keys on the wall, and he opens the window. Inside is another stained glass window with a heart symbol on it. But once he opens it, he sees a building that also has a heart symbol on it, and also Roman and Navarro are there. Nate then radios Sully, and he goes,
"Hey Sully, that red herring that you sent Roman and Navarro on, well, you're a bit of a fucking dingus, because that's where the treasure actually is. So I need you to make a distraction so that I can sneak in."
You got it, kid. One diversion. Coming right up.
Alright, we're gonna speed things up a little bit here. So Sully makes a diversion.
Sullivan has escaped.
Roman and Navarro chase after Sully, leaving the building. Nate then sneaks into the building, and Sully and Elena are already inside the building. And Nate notices that, there's some symbols, Drake's diary, da-da-da-da-da, secret passage, they go inside, da-da-da-da-da. Once inside, Elena then steps on a pressure plate, which closes the passage behind them. Sully is stuck on one side, and... ooh, Elena and Drake. Finally, some alone time. But there is no romantic interest, insists Drake. Nate then radios Sully and he says, "Hey, why don't you go back to the library and we'll figure a way to get out?" And then he carries on forward. Okay, that was a lot of random stuff, but now this is it. This is the big reveal. What the whole game has been leading up to. Nate and Elena make it to a big empty room. There is the body of Sir Francis Drake. He's dead. They were too late. We missed him by minutes. So Nate goes, "Oh, that's funny. It looks like Francis Drake never actually found El Dorado. He just died here. Lamau."
Rip.
Nate then gives the ring, which is around his neck, to Drake and says,
"So much for greatness.
This guy sucks. He did some stuff, but he didn't find big gold." And he's kicking the corpse around the room. Nate and Elena then start looking for a way out. Nate lifts up Elena to a higher level.
"Oh, you're heavier than you look."
And she climbs up. But then suddenly an explosion happens, and Raja and one of his men come into the room. Nate then points his gun at him and says, "Hey, why don't you take it easy, fella?"
I won't be doing that.
But they are interrupted. There is a noise coming from the room behind them. What's going on?
You didn't see them? We're trapped here, Nate. We're all dead.
What are you talking about?
We're about to be attacked by monsters.
Oh. Suddenly, a mysterious creature then jumps out of nowhere and grabs Raja's men and disappears into the black void. Raja and Nate then get swamped by these creatures,
which are called Descendants.
Who names them Descendants?
We did, the game developers.
Suddenly, Nate and Raja have to fight together. They make some witty quips at one another.
I hate your guts.
And they fight off the Descendants.
That's right, you ugly kunyuk!
And Sully is there taking notes. Is that a new type of slur? What does that one mean?
Don't mess with Eddie Raja!
However, halfway through the fight, one of the Descendants pulls Eddie over the edge and bites him. Is that bad? Is it like a vampire?
Well, he's dead.
Oh, so Nate is left alone to fight the Descendants? Then suddenly, Elena shows up.
Nate, take this rope and climb up away from the Descendants. Please, I love you.
Nate quickly climbs the rope away from the Descendants. Elena and Nate start running, with the Descendants hot on their tail. They make it into another room. Nate closes the door and locks it behind him. And then they look around. What is this place?
It's an old German control center.
They find a drawing of the monastery, and it says, "The Germans found El Dorado." Nate then points at the drawing and says, "Hey, look at this. If this is still where the statue is now, then we are right on top of it." Nate and Elena then spy an elevator, and they think that's our way out of here. But it has no power.
Guess the Nazis didn't pay their electric bill.
Nate says, "Okay, this elevator, it's broken. I need to get to the generator room to power it so that it is not broken." Elena says, "You'll have to go take care of it, Nate. And then she smashes a window. Can't you see? I'm in this wheelchair. I couldn't possibly do it. You'll have to go on alone. So Nate goes on alone. He fights more descendants and he makes it to the generator room. He flips his switch. That was easy. He fights them all off and he heads back to the German room. Then on his way back to one of the rooms, there's a projector playing some film. The film shows El Dorado, his favorite movie, and it also shows a statue, as well as a man beside it who looks very angry. Uh-oh. Next to the projectors is also a photo of Drake's corpse, which is next to El Dorado. Also, there is a note from Drake. It says, "Really enjoyed my trip to El Dorado. Can't wait to get home. Also, the gold of El Dorado is cursed. It bears a terrible price, and the Spaniards have unleashed hell and they have become demons. All of my men have been murdered. And at risk of having the curse spread, I have destroyed all of the ships, and I will drown this cursed city. There is such a great evil here that it can never leave these shores." Ooh. Nate then continues on fighting the descendants. Nate then makes it to another control room, which is across the control room from Elena. And then Elena says, "Help me, Nate, I have been captured by Roman and Navarro. They're wheeling me off to places unknown."
They already took the brakes off, so I can't stop them.
And Roman says, "Haha, thank you, Nate, for leading me to the Dorado. Also, I'm going to keep Elena in order to discourage you and Sully from trying anything."
That won't stop me. You think I care about this woman?
Roman, Navarro, and Elena then leave. "Wow, I'm really in a pickle," says Nate. But it gets worse, because he's swarmed by Roman's guards. Nate fights his way through the guards and reaches the surface. Then he goes, "Sully, they're wheeling Elena away. We have to get her back." Sully says,
"Nate, I'm currently pinned down in front of the church, so you're gonna have to come and clear out the church so that I can leave, because I'm incapable of doing anything on my own.
I'm also in a wheelchair now."
Sully and Nate then regroup, and Nate pushes him into the church. There's supposed to be more accessibility in games, right?
Yes.
We're doing that. Who says heroes can't be in wheelchairs?
Probably Sully.
Nate and Sully then open up a new passage, and there is a tomb. In the tomb is the thing they have been looking for across the whole span of the game. El Dorado. Uh-oh. All of a sudden, Elena is wheeled out from behind the wall. Navarro and Roman right behind her. Nate and Sully point their guns at Roman, but the guards are also there pointing guns back at Nate and Sully. This is some sort of very complicated Mexican standoff. Roman says, "Drop your weapons, or you're gonna have 2 flat tires on your hands." Nate and Sully go, okay, and they drop their weapons. Roman then approaches El Dorado, and he goes, "My God, look at the glory of it all. That's only a shell. The real treasure is inside, like a Cadbury cream egg." Okay, just to clarify, this big thing is El Dorado. It's not a city, it's a statue. So Roman opens the Dorado, and inside is a corpse. This isn't a good prize, what the heck? And a cloud of dust is thrown into the air, and it seems as though the mummy is smoking 4 cigarettes at once. This triggers Roman's asthma. Navarro leans into Elena and says, "Watch this." Navarro knew all along.
Yes, he did. It's a double cross. Never trust a Panamanian, that's what I always say.
Oh, Sully, come on now. Roman shuts El Dorado as quick as he can, but it's too late. His lungs are filled with pollen, and he starts falling and coughing and spluttering all over the place. Suddenly, Roman anamorphs, and Navarro shoots him in the head.
So, in case we're all not picking up, the descendants used to be Spaniards. The descendants found El Dorado, and they opened it.
Yep.
And they inhaled the pollen.
Oh no.
And then they all became what they are now. And that is just what has happened to Roman.
Alright, guards. Take the El Dorado. Nate says, "No, you can't do that. It wiped out an entire colony. You don't know what you're doing."
Nate, I'm the only one who knows what he's doing. Look at Roman here. Do you know what this is worth to the right buyer? We could start a whole chemical warfare.
The statue then starts being lifted out by helicopter. Navarro then grabs onto the back of Elena's wheelchair and goes rushing out of the room. And the descendants start swarming the area.
Jesus, what are those things?
It's the Spaniards, Sully. They never left.
This gives Nate and Sully the opportunity to knock the guards out, and they steal their shotguns.
Click, click.
Nate says, no, we have to stop El Dorado. We have to stop them from getting it off the island. They're gonna sell it at a wet market. Nate then runs and jumps onto the El Dorado. The helicopter continues lifting upwards. We then see a shot inside the helicopter, and somehow Navarro and Elena are now inside it. A guard then opens fire on Nate from the helicopter. Elena then kicks the guard out, and he falls.
Oh my god, she was faking it the whole time. What an incredible ruse.
As the guard falls, though, he accidentally shoots the pilot. Uh-oh. Navarro goes, and he takes control of the helicopter. It flies over a freighter, and Nate jumps onto it. The helicopter crashes onto the freighter. Navarro gets out of the ruined helicopter, and he instructs, kill Nate. Nate fights the men and kills all of them because he's so tough. Nate then gets to Navarro, but then Navarro goes, haha, and he blows up an explosive crate. This knocks Nate back and disarms him. It's a one-on-one fight time. Nate, naturally, wins. And just presumes Navarro is dead from punching, and Drake doesn't even bother disarming him. Nate then runs over and pulls Elena from the wrecked helicopter. I've got bad news, Elena. Your legs, they're horribly mangled. You'll never walk again. But then Navarro gets up. No! Nate then pushes the wrecked helicopter off the boat, and the wrecked helicopter still has a rope attached to it, which tightens around Navarro's leg, and it pulls him and the El Dorado statue into the ocean.
Adios, asshole.
It does feel like a bit of a wasted opportunity. Adios, asshole. Like he should be going, don't stay tied down, or have a nice trip.
It was not nice to meet you.
Elena and Nate then see Sully sailing over to them on a boat. Nate turns to Elena and he goes, you know what? It's been quite a day. We found the treasure. We left with nothing. But I found myself. And it turns out I'm pansexual. Elena goes, what? Elena then says, I do have one thing for you though, Nate. Elena then gives Nate back the Drake ring that he left on his corpse. He goes, why'd you take that? I put it there. Nate then bends down for a kiss. But Sully interrupts, saying,
You two got a funny idea of romantic.
Sully says, why don't you two get on the boat? And Elena goes, we already have a boat. And then Sully says,
I like this one better.
What is this, becoming a sitcom? He pulls away a sheet to reveal pirate treasure. Where'd you find that?
He borrowed it off some pirates, and they were too dead to care about it.
The three then sail off into the sunset, readying themselves for 3 sequels, all of which are better than the original. The end. Question mark? Now, first things first, with Tomb Raider, a lot of very funny animation. Here's an example. It all just explodes in the opposite direction. I want to see if Uncharted is the same. So he goes, you son of a bitch.
Is the gun clipping through Navarro's arm?
Yeah, it's going, and also through Drake's hand.
Yeah, it is too.
Look at
the soldier off to the side with the red just pulsing.
Kablam. Ragdoll. Doo.
Nathan Drake is played by Nolan North.
Who? He's a relatively unknown figure in the gaming world, isn't he?
Here's a list of all the famous Nolan North characters.
Who? Oh, I know this name. David. Yeah, I liked him. He was from The Last of Us.
And you're special.
He's like Laney Minella as well, where I think he's able to change his voice fairly significantly for characters.
Hi, I'm Nancy Drew.
Such a humble servant, but he will never hear my voice.
Well, he's the Penguin in Arkham City. That doesn't sound anything like Nathan Drake.
I tried to help you, Batman.
Yeah, save the world, triumph over evil.
I gave you the opportunity to end this and walk away, but oh no. You had to be the big man.
Ooh, a bit like me and you, eh, Jeff? Is me English accent. Jeff, do your famous Irish accent.
Oi, matey! I love potato!
That's incredible, Jeff. What about your, Finnish kindergarten teacher? Your impression that you're always doing.
Oi, mate!
Wow, that really sucks, Jeff.
It's Emily Rose.
She was in NCIS as
one episode.
Special Agent Anna Genlow. What did she have to investigate, Jeff?
Sex trafficking ring? I don't know.
Navarro has started some sort of sex cult. And she's the only woman for the job. Alright, she becomes a very, well-defined character in the later games. I remember playing, 2 and 3 and 4 and being like, oh, she is easily as interesting as the main character, and I'd like to see more scenes with her, which is pretty hard to pull off. So I gotta give them credit for that. FarmersOnly.com. Yeah, look, that German warboat doesn't make any fucking sense. Rivers go out to deltas, which go out to the ocean. Why would a U-boat go back up through a river? Waterfalls all go in one direction as well, which is down to the ocean. You couldn't fall over a waterfall in the other way.
And he says it's flooding, but I just do not believe that there would be that much flooding.
Bullshit. Yeah. I'm calling bullshit on this. The thing that's always struck me about the Uncharted games is that they're constantly finding monuments and incredible archaeological sites. But it's like, what do you think the locals do all day? You know what I mean? Locals are curious too. They're going to see a big pyramid and they're not going to go, hey, what's in it? Bet there's some cool shit. It gets worse in the other games.
I suppose you could argue that the El Dorado at least makes sense, because it's like everyone who has supposedly discovered this statue has become a descendant.
Now, I'll tell you what was incredibly memorable. The Uncharted movie. Tell you what, everyone's still raving about that.
Did you actually see it?
No.
Okay.
Who the fuck would? As soon as that trailer went out, and it was like, Mark Wahlberg. Yeah, as Nathan Drake. I guess that kind of works.
I'm into it.
And then they go as Sully, and you go, ah. He looks perfect age for Nathan Drake.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you, Mark. I didn't even like Mark Wahlberg, but he should have been Nathan Drake.
You can just tell it's executive producers going, no, well, this will be a PG-13 movie, so we want to attract the younger demographic. Therefore, we will make him, I don't know who that kid is.
Tom Holland.
Yeah, and it's just way too young. Immediately destroys the character. Because the whole point of Nathan Drake was that he was older and had experience.
Yep.
If you make him a naive kid, boring.
Doesn't work.
No. I enjoyed this. How about you, Jeff?
This was great. This was lovely.
So did he chart it at the end?